Welcome to another exciting and educative episode of the Debate Circle. I'll be your host, Waya Jeffrey, and the motion for dissection today reads, parents should have the right to choose the type of education their child receives. Proposing this motion, we have Makueni Girls A, and opposing this motion, we have Makueni Girls B. All the best to the two teams on stage. First speaker, team proposition, you have 3 minutes.
I have a confession. Which confession, you may ask? Is the confession that I'm really happy to be in Makueni Girls. Do you know something? It's because my parents chose this for me. They sat me down last night and they told me, my dear, don't go to this nearby school that you want to go. Come to Makueni Girls, the school of choice. It will be good for you. And right now, I am very happy to be in this school because it was my parents' choice. I, Faith Minor, from the great and excellent Makueni Girls, stand here before you to propose and agree on the motion that states parents have the right to choose the type of education their child receives. And before I continue, let me define for you some terms that I'm obliged to define. First of all, what is education? Education is the process of receiving or giving systematic instructions, especially at a school or university. I know you haven't heard me right. Let me repeat myself. It's the process of receiving or giving systematic instruction, especially at a school or a university. I know you get it right, that every parent needs their child to be educated, needs their child to grow and develop their skills and knowledge. But how are we going to do that? If you give the parents the rights. On to my first point. Parental autonomy. What is autonomy? Autonomy is right. So, parents have a fundamental right to make decisions regarding their child's upbringing, including their education. They are the primary caregivers and are best positioned to understand their child's unique needs, learning styles, and interests. Now, let me give you an example. A parent has a toddler. So, what you're trying to tell me is that a toddler can make their own decisions? Absolutely not. The parent is there to make the child's decision, to make the decision on where the toddler should go to school. Like, oh my goodness, where should my child go to school right now? He's so small, they need to develop their skills. Oh, he's so good at woodwork. I need to take the child to a school where, oh God, they provide woodworking to develop my child's skills. And that is why I agree on this point. From parental autonomy to tailored education to parental involvement in the child's education. What do I mean by parental involvement in child's education? When a parent is involved in the child's education, it means that the parent will encourage the child. They'll tell them, you could have done this in this subject, improve on this subject, improve in this area, because I know you are capable of doing it. Why should I disagree with why parents should have the right? When you say they disagree, are you going to tell me that the parents will not have the right? Are you going to tell me that the toddler is going to say, I'm going to choose this school the way I want? Which one I want? The toddlers. They don't have the power to do that. Who has the power? The parents. And that's why I want all of you, I request all of you to join us in the proposition team to advocate that parents should have the right to choose the type of education their child receives. I rest my case.
First speaker, team opposition, you have 3 minutes.
Well. It seems our proposals here just threw us into a deep ditch. But worry not, my audience, for I, Serafina Mtinda, from the great Makueni Girls, is here to remove us from that ditch. Well, I don't decline on how they define the following terminologies, education and right. But I digged in deeper and found out that, according to John Dewey, education is the development of all those capacities in an individual which will enable him to control his environment and fulfill his responsibilities. I repeat, an individual. So this child has to be involved in the type of education he or she undergoes. Well, on to my first point, which is inequality and segregation. Well, you're telling us about this so-called autonomy. Okay, it is a right, okay. But Have you ever thought of this affluent parent who has better access to resources and abilities to take their child to a better school, while there's this orphan and these disadvantaged families which are struggling out there to take the child to school? And that's why our late Jomo Kenyatta just brought up something known as STEM curriculum. This means that every child will be able to get the same type of education. Even if it is a national school or a sub-county, they will find that the teachers who are teaching mathematics, English, Kiswahili, geography, and all the other subjects which all of you students here are being taught. Okay, another point is loss of opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, as I'm standing in front of you, I'm a very, very deflected student. Do you know why? And this is why. I had a friend who left 365,000. 300 and what? 1,000. You had me? 1,000. In a Kenyan University account bank. And why? This is because his parents engaged him in a career that he had no passion in. This meant that this child had no passion in that career. So even before the first year was over, this child dropped. Parents, this is a shame. As to me, this is enough trauma. I tell you, it's enough trauma. Actually, in this economy, hey, I don't know where I could have gone, actually. Well, as to continue, what I wanted to say is, after he had refused to continue, his parents told him, boy, I'm telling you, this is my house, and if you don't go there, I'll disown you. And the child said, Mom, if you disown me, where will I go? Mom, just let me do my own career. And he said, no, I choose the type of education you do. And since he saw that he didn't want to do it, he committed suicide because he didn't want to be disowned. So, guys, education is the key to success. And if you have no education, where will you go? Where will you go literally? Nowhere. So let's just involve our kids in making their own choices so that they can also be comfortable in whatever they're doing. Well, I want to leave you with a quote. If your feet don't fit in your shoes, you don't change the feet, you change your shoes. What am I trying to say? The type of education you like is your feet. So get the type of education you want. Stand up for it and get it. Thank you.
Second speaker, team proposition, you have 3 minutes.
As the renowned Nelson Mandela said, education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. To propose the motion is Serena Keteko from Makueni Girls. She has spoken about inequality based on lack of resources, but I beg to differ by speaking about education quality. Parents who have the freedom to choose the type of education their child receives can seek out schools or educational programs that they believe offer the best quality of education. If a good parent wants the best for you, he or she will choose good schools which provide quality education. If I may give an example, Brookhurst. The parent will be helping us to promote Sustainable Development Goals, number 4, which speaks about quality education. So, I believe that a parent will do his or her best to take you to a good school so that you can get quality education. Lack of resources is not an excuse for you to fail in life. And so, I move on to my second point, which is different children have different learning abilities and preferences. Allowing parents to choose the type of education ensures that they can select an approach that best suits their child's individual needs. Who knows you better than your parent? I think no one does. And so, your parent will take you to a school that he or she knows based on your ability you will do good. For example, if you are a disabled child, your parent will obviously take you to a school which deals with disability, won't she? Your guess is as right as mine. I think she will take you to a disabled school. Now, if your preference is in playing basketball, your parents will obviously take you to a school which deals with basketball playing. But my point here is, according to an article written on 23rd January early this year by the Standard Nation, it states that some children who failed in their KCPE examinations and scored an average of 200 marks have performed way better by scoring A grades in their KCSE compared to the students who got 390 marks. So, dear audience, be the judge here. Do you tell me that if the parent could have given up on the ability of the child because he or she scored 200 marks in the KCPE, could the child be the doctor she is today? Could she score the A constant she has scored today? I don't think she has. And so, my dear opponents, I will tell you that to stop giving us false points and join our proposer's side by saying that if parents are given the right to choose the type of education for their children, they will surely promote sustainable development goal number 4, as I mentioned earlier, which is quality education. And in this world, we will be surely to have successful students. I rest my case. Thank you.
Second speaker, team opposition, you have 3 minutes.
According to Alan Bloom, education is the movement from darkness to light. If only children have the right to choose the type of education they want. According to my preposition side, they've said that parents are in the best position to understand their child's unique needs, learning style, and their interest. Are you really sure that the parents are really able to do that? Well, I don't think so. Opposing the motion is Michelle Chepkoech from the Makueni girls. On to my first point, lack of accountability. What is lack of accountability? Lack of accountability, according to Investopedia, it is the acceptance of responsibilities of one own action. Let's take, for example, when parents decide to choose for their own children's type of education, and obviously the children didn't want the type of education they want, of course, that will deprive them of the potential that they need. On to my second example. Schools may try to prioritize on attracting students rather than focusing on quality education. Funny to say, avoiding the SDG 4, or saying violating the SDG 4, which says quality education. I have a story to tell. I have some of my friends who attained quality marks, but were called to schools that their parents obviously didn't like their school. So obviously they went to the internet and boom, found the type of school that they wanted, forcing the child to enter the school and didn't know the background of the school. Thus making the child feel depressed in that school because he or she didn't want the type of school, and obviously having a bad record that obviously the school didn't report about. Surely, isn't that really depressing the child? On to my second point, potential for education neglect. Parents may tend to keep their child's interest unto their own hearts, and they tend to neglect their child's potential, thus hindering their future opportunities. In analogy of this egg, take for example, it has all your future opportunities, but somebody somewhere made it look like this. Why? Came, slapped it, and it looked like this, thus destroying your own future and destroying your own potential future of making you live a better life. Surely, is this what really parents you really want to make your children look like? I don't think so. Really, I come here to oppose the motion that says parents should really not have the right to choose their children's type of education, because really that will really make them look like they're not able to think for themselves. So with this, I rest my case.
Third speaker, team proposition, you have 3 minutes.
Wow. It is so sad. I really feel pity for my fellow opponents here. I'm feeling pity for your children in the upcoming generation. If you are going to choose just anybody to choose the type of education they would not want, you might see me wearing specs, but I can see clearly through this motion. A wise man once said, "Don't raise your voice, just improve your argument." And I am here to improve my argument that parents should have the right to choose the type of education their children receive. Michelle Mbete, Makueni Girls. On parental involvement, when parents are involved in the type of education, they are more likely to remain engaged and active in their child's educational journey. This involvement can positively impact the child's academic performance and overall development. According to Wendy Meadell and Arthur Reynolds, who most of you have not heard of, after analyzing 700 parent interviews, and I repeat, 700 parent interviews, they concluded that the first 8th grade students who constantly brought higher grades are because of their parents' involvement in their school activities. Let me ask you, all the parents who are here, how often do you visit your child's academic clinics? Do you know that when you visit them during their academic clinics, it does bring a positive change? Do you? Well, if you didn't, well, now you know. On tailored education, different children have different learning abilities and preferences. Although their children's individual needs are sustained by their parents, in real sense, all of you know that every parent wants what's best for their children, because a parent cannot mislead their child in any way, or can you? Of course not. In conclusion, my dear audiences here, let us not do it in other people's way, but let us do it the better way to benefit our children in the upcoming generation. Thank you.
Third speaker, team opposition, you have 3 minutes.
Children have to be educated, but they also have to be left to educate themselves. John Wanjiru from the Great Makueni Girls here to strongly oppose the motion that states parents should have the right to choose the type of education that their child receives. But before I go to my point, there are some few points I've heard from the other side that they're actually disturbing me. Let me share them with you. One of the speakers has said, she was talking about SDG 4, but I have a question for her. SDG 4 talks about quality education, right? Let me ask you a question. Have you ever thought about those children out there who don't have parents nor guardians? Do they receive quality education? Do they? Then no, silence is an answer. So I think if we involve the government, if we involve the government, these children will be able to receive quality education. Okay, I'll proceed to my first point now. But my lips are kind of dry. But you know what? My words are not dry. My first point, social cohesion and diversity. Education plays a crucial role in fostering social cohesion and promoting diversity. When parents have complete control of their child's education, they may choose schools that reinforce their own beliefs and values, creating echo chambers and limiting exposure to diverse perspectives. A well-rounded education should expose children to a variety of ideas, cultures, and backgrounds to develop critical thinking skills and promote understanding among different groups. Take this example for instance. Some Muslim students just finished their KCPE recently, and they got good grades that could take them to St. Augustus in Kiambu. But since they are Muslims, their parents are Muslims, and everyone in the family is a Muslim, was against them going to St. Augustus Kiambu. I know most of you must be asking yourselves, why? But don't worry, I got your back. Simply because St. Augustus Kiambu is not from the same religions as there. Like St. Augustus Kiambu, it's about Christianity. But these parents want these children to receive Islamic education. So they took them to Sheikh Khalifa in Mombasa. Let me ask you a simple question. Are these Muslim students exposed to the outside world? What do I mean by outside world? I don't mean this world. I mean the religious world. You know what I'm talking about? Christianity, Hinduism. Let me ask you another question. How are they going to treat these other religions out here? Oh, your silence is an answer. Then this proves them wrong and us right. On to my conclusion. If you asked on my opinion, I would say that parents should not be given the right to choose the type of education for their children. Therefore, I think by now you should be able to notice the harm our parents are causing unto us when they choose the type of education for us. I rest my case. Thank you.
Team proposition, you have 1 minute for your final submission.
Wow, wow, wow. Good words, sweet words, I believe, but no points. You did say social cohesion and diversity. I am very sure that and absolutely confident that every parent would want what's best for their child and would not want to influence their echo chambers. And most of the parents will choose the type of education for their children based on their financial status. It's not according to their wanting. We must not allow other people's limited perceptions to define us. Being yourself is all it takes. With that, I rest my case.
Team opposition, you have 1 minute for your final submission.
Wow. You said you can clearly see. And when you said that you had just removed your glasses, so please remove your glasses to clearly see that you're talking the right thing. Well, what I was trying to say is that the best way to predict your future is to create it. Create it yourself. Don't let others create it. Parents are also other people, though we know them, they're also other people. Okay, I would like to tell you something. Life is too short to live another day being suppressed under what you don't like. Try to live it the way you want it. Try to go to the type of education you want so that you can undergo everything that you wanted to try in life. You know, life is about trying everything you want before you die. Hey. Nothing changes you until you change. Your parent cannot change you. So if you want to go either to a private school or to a public school, you have the right to stand up and say, Mom, Dad, I think I can get a better foundation in this school. Okay. Okay. Do we only have 700 parents in this world? No. This means you don't know what you're talking about. Look at the bigger capacity. It was never interviewed. So, before I rest my case, please remove your glasses. And one more thing, if I was you, I would bat out from those seats and join us here to oppose this motion. Thank you.
All right, let's appreciate the two teams with a clap. I think that's a good one. And it's interesting to hear as well the audience and your comments. I spoke to a lady back here to just confirm whether that example that was given in by Joan could be true, and I think I love it because I think it quite resonated with what we're talking about. But nonetheless, looking at the motion, parents should have the right to choose the type of education their child receives. I felt there was a bit of justice to the motion by both teams, a bit of justice. Why I'm saying that is because education is not just about high school and university and the likes. Education is wide, isn't it? Yes. Religious education is part of it. There's a lot of things around it. So I felt like you narrowed down to your context only on what you see as education, so you could have gone wider, all right? So that's why there are no scores like 80s and the likes, because we felt you narrowed it down. However, very quickly to the students, Makueni A, Faith, good start. If there was an improvement I would tell you to do, I could tell you are looking somewhere. Look at the people. We could tell your eye contact was not so much there. So I think, but the points were very good that as primary caregivers, they understand the child best and all that. So fair resolutions and deductions. Serena, good examples, good way of bringing out the stories that we needed, and well done. However, when you give an example that there is quality education in a school like Brook House, I thought you would say a school like Makueni. Does it mean you're suffering? I was just confirming. But it's also interesting that somebody would say actually Brook House is not a good school somewhere. So it depends on very, very varied. So it's a dangerous one to go by. Nobody can refute if you say a good school like Makueni, because who knows Makueni better than you? You get it. Maybe that's your dream though. Hopefully you'll get there. Michelle, the likelihood of being involved in kids' welfare, very good examples, good citations. And I think, Michelle, you stood out for me very strongly. I think of the team members across, you stood out for us. I think even Judge Mai will confirm that, that parent can never mislead a child. So you resonated with us very well, which is good. You're a strong speaker. Well done. Good speakers overall on Team A. Team B as well. Let me start by saying you're all good speakers as well, all right, which is commendable. Sarafina, university and child, you could have probably defined for you a child. Because, for example, somebody may say a child in university in the country rarely are they a child, because most of them are above 18, okay? Maybe you could have defined for yourself and say, for us, a child is someone who's still under the parent's care. You get it? Now that would have been safer. So don't just come and give these points without having defined your parameters. Good real examples though, Sarafina. Michelle Chepkoech as well. A good use of analogies. I think I loved how you presented it out, and even the examples of SDGs. Joanne, I think what I loved about what you did, Joanne, is to bring in at least some bit of cross-examination, good questions as well, and your example was quite good. However, it would have been good to give a source. Then you came and said, your lips are dry, but your words, I don't know what. And then I was wondering, was that relevant really? How did this connect? I was waiting for you to connect it now to something, then boom. Then I realized it was just a saying of creating time. All the best to both teams. We'll wait for the results.
Thank you so much. Congratulations, Makueni Girls A and the Makueni Girls B. My colleague has said most of the issues that I would have said, but I can't lack anything to say. Now, to the proposers. All of you have very good mastery of English. You've understood the motion, and you are passionate. But, Michelle, I look forward to seeing you debating in the Senate one day. I have loved you. To me, you are really outstanding. Keep up and you will become a great woman. The rest are also good. To Makueni Girls B. Very good definition of terms, that is Sarafina. Good cross-examination, but again, you forgot to tell us which university this was, which year, which course was being taken. Chepkoech, again, you did a good cross-examination. Tell us more about the child. Who, where, when? We need to know. That story of the egg is very sensible. I love it. Joanne, passionate, composed, check on time. But for the opposition, because the question is parents should have the right to choose the type of education their child receives. When you are opposing, who else, if not the parent, maybe the government, the society, there are others who you can also could have expounded and given us something more than that. The motion is broader. All the same, the two teams have done justice to the motion. By and large, it's quite a good one. Congratulations.
And the scores are in. And the judges have awarded Makueni Girls B with 68.2, a round of applause. And the judges have also awarded Makueni Girls Team A with 69%, therefore making Makueni A the winners of this debate. Congratulations to all teams on stage. Remember, to catch more of this content, follow us at the Debate Circle on all social media platforms, on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and the Threads. And for now, it's goodbye from us.